All right, so let's keep it going. All right, looking now at comportment while spreading the word. Now we're here in the Third Testament, looking at chapter 60, where we're looking at the what did it say? We can come on 22. We can go all the way back up to the beginning here. And this is chapter 60, work in accord with the Spirit of Christ. Now, this is part two. In part one, we looked at the qualities and abilities needed in the new apostles. And this one, we're looking at comportment while spreading the word. That starts in verse 44. And comportment, we looked it up, and it means behaviors. So this is kind of like the way we're going to act. So let's jump on down here. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and get it started. I should have. This is the stuff I should have been showing you. Was that slide there? And now we're going to jump all the way down here to 44. All right. All right. There shall he numerous methods to allow my disciples to propagate this blessed seed. Okay, so there's a lot of, this is one method here. He said he's going to allow numerous methods. Well, this is one. And there's going to be, so it depends on what your talent is. But never forget the humility and simplicity, because that is how I came to you, and in that manner you shall come close to the hearts, homes, and towns. Okay, so in other words, he's saying this is what works: simplicity and humility. You can't go in there, speaking on high, haughty words, with a whole lot of needs and stuff. You need the person to do this, need them to do that. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna work. You got to come in with humility and simplicity. If you come in that manner, you will be recognized as emissaries and as a emissaries of a spiritual message, and your struggle will yield fruit of true spirituality. Okay, so if you come in humility and simplicity, now anytime this scripture throw an if statement, your ears should be popping. You know what I mean? You should be listening. If he say if, you should be listening, because you know what I'm saying. You might want to get in on that. You know what I mean? It's like, say you sleep and somebody say, if you do this, you get that. Well, you might want that. You know what I'm saying? So you go ahead and you just wake up. You know what I'm saying? All the ifs need to be in big red flashing lights. If you come in that manner, you will be recognized as emissaries. Now, we should look up emissaries of a spiritual message, and your struggle will yield fruit of true spirituality of Loud down. If you come in that manner, you will be recognized as emissaries of a spiritual message. Your struggle will yield fruit of true spirituality, of regeneration and brotherhood. Let's go on. Whoop. Here's another if. Okay, we're looking again at the comportment while spreading the word. Verse 45 says, if you want to know what you must do among humanity, it is enough to look at what I have done with you beginning on the day that you first heard my word. Now, I'm not sure what day he's talking about. Is this the first day, not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, when I heard about this New Testament? Or is it way back in the 90s when I heard about, the Old Testament? You know what I'm saying? Is it in the 2018 with the Third Testament, or is it the 90 with the Old Testament? I don't know. Verse 46 says, I pardoned you. Okay, now he did that both times. He says, I received you with charity and infinite love. Now, he may have done that in the 90s, but I really didn't feel it. Like, 2018 was a little different. I made you rest from the grueling journey. Yeah, no, we definitely talking, because the grueling journey started then. I wasn't grueling in 96. I was partying like it was 1999. And we've been on the journey ever since. So, yeah, that eliminates that. I did not stop to judge your condition, your sphere or class, but cleaned the leprosy of your sin and cured your ills. Okay, now this leprosy and sin, that's a key. And he says it somewhere else in here that it is a key, and he's putting these two together. And so you can use that when you look in the Old Testament and you study the Leviticus and you wonder what in the world we got to do with leprosy. Well, you see how what they did to cure the leprosy then is what we must do now to cure the sin now. But again, that was you have to look at the leprosy from a spiritual point of view. So you also have to look at the cure from a spiritual point of view too. So that, and that's where the Bible study begins. That's why we're doing this. Maybe we can get some people that we can all work together and try to figure some of this stuff out. Because I have questions too. I promise you, I got more questions than I got answers. It's just you get a little tired of that deer in the headlight look. You know what I mean? Well, you don't get tired of it. It's just it don't do you no much good. Verse 47 says, I have been understanding, indulgent, and benevolent upon judging your defects. I have reiterated or reintegrated you into the true life, giving you a doctrine of love that enables you to save yourselves by saving your fellow men. Okay, now this paragraph goes on here, but let's go back up to the if statement there. It says, if you want to know what you must do among humanity, it is enough to look at what I have done with you beginning on that day that you first heard my word. And then he goes on to say that he's done all of this stuff. Now, let's go see what else he's done. There, in the works I have had with each one of you, you may find the best examples to be brought into practice among the needy in body and spirit, who will also come to you in caravans. Okay, now he talks about in the scripture in another part of the book. I'm always referencing other parts of the book. And no, if you know I'm not gonna go look up the verses for you. I'm not gonna do your Bible study for you. I I do the Bible study with you, but you're gonna have to go, do some stuff too. He talks about in other parts of the Bible that people, when they find out your simplicity and your love and your lifestyle based on this scripture, they're going to hear about you in foreign lands and they're going to come over to America. You know what I'm saying? He didn't necessarily say to West Virginia or to wherever you at, but he said he's going to come over to America. They're going to come over to America just to see where you and how you live. We'll let y'all figure out what that noise is. Don't stop. Keep going. By speaking to the people, I speak to humanity. Okay, he's talking to everybody now. To you, it will come to go tomorrow. To you, it will come to go tomorrow to the hearts of men and fraternally pass to them my word. Hmm. Some of these I won't be wondering if I'm messing them up that bad. Y'all read them for yourself. Which will consummate the work of redemption. Moving on. 50. You must be humble. Okay, we're going to take these a little bit slower. Got to be humble. Because you know why he says you got to be humble? It's not that you're being picked on like in this, where we at now in this era where you got to be humble or you've been and slapped somebody. This one, no, you got to be humble because you actually can slap somebody. And this one, if you don't control that power, I mean, it reminds me when I was working down at a nuclear power plant, and it's going to be a real short story. I'm trying my best. But I was the nuclear containment coordinator in down at the nuclear power plant, and I was working with this guy who had been the containment coordinator for a while, but he was trying to get out of position. He told me that I was his little frog in a pot. So it was me and him down here on this crew, and he was training me to be his replacement. So we was going through all of this, but one of the things he had to tell me real quick, or explaining to me real quick, is that I have now had huge power when I took over this position. Now I was a manager in this place, but I was a manager of documents and papers. I wasn't a manager of people per se. You know what I'm saying? I just wrote the people up and put it in their files and gave it to their bosses or whatever. But when I took this position as a containment coordinator, I actually had a lot of power to the point where I was getting or I was actually getting people in trouble, inadvertently. All I meant to do was the person to come, clean up their mess. I didn't mean for them to get fired, kind of stuff. And so he explained to me, and that's what this is kind of like. It's a very humbling experience, when you find out as a containment coordinator that all you got is, that you can easily say something that could cost this man his livelihood, and him and his wife gonna be, and children gonna be figuring out what they gonna eat next week. You learn. It's a very humbling experience. That ain't nothing to compare to this. I'm telling you, that ain't nothing to compare to, what you learn with spiritualism, because you learn, you have power to control elements. You know what I'm saying? How you gonna just cause a drought on somebody? You know what I mean? Quit playing. You gotta be serious. So you be humble. It must not hurt you if they offend you. Now, yeah, that what was it? Yeah, and you're gonna find out how you're gonna do that, because you're gonna have a whole lot of people gonna hurt you. They're gonna just straight up just slam hurting you. If you ain't made it as far as I done made it, some of you done made it further, and I'm sure. But a couple of y'all ain't made it this far. Let me tell you what's about to happen. You know what I mean? Everybody about to call and fuss you out. You know what I'm saying? They may not cuss you out because you're a man of God or whatever, but you know what I'm saying? They gonna hurt your feelings. Everybody. People across the street, down at the church, your mama, your dog, everybody. But to teach you and to make it so that, what I'm saying, you get to the idea that people are going to offend you, and you got to what? Be meek. They shall make you suffer humiliation and suffering. But your word, which will be my message, they will not be able to tear from their spirit. So, you know what I'm saying? Try all you want. You know what I'm saying? You can come in there all you want. You know what I'm saying? You gonna keep it with you. You know what I'm saying? One dude told me one time, he said, "Man, let me tell you why he's sitting there, in his mind flipping his $100 bills, counting them in my face or whatever. Man, you gonna think about this tonight. Let me tell you, you gonna think about this. I don't remember what he said next, but the next time I saw him, guess what he said? Man, I think about you all the time. I ain't think about him a lick, but he had thought about me. Hey, you say that to her. You think about that spirit, what you thinking about. I'm learning here in verse 50. You thinking about that spirit that left with you. For which reason I tell you that if some remain insensitive and deaf to your call, if some don't hear you, remember we was talking about them seeds, you only got a handful. Others shall awaken from their long sleep and rise up to march and channel their lives to the path of regeneration and repentance. See, this is why you got to get going. Pastor at the church told me that, not too long ago, that she had a dream that said, that I came to her in a dream and said, get up and let's go. You know what? You need to get up. It's time to go. You know what I'm saying? You see that regeneration and repentance. See, we've been waiting on this for a long time. And we ain't know we've been waiting on it. I didn't know I've been waiting on it. So I knew I was waiting on this tribulation, and I knew something was about to, get straightened out after this tribulation. But you know what I'm saying? It ain't really the tribulation that we're waiting on. It's this book. You know what I'm saying? That's what we've been waiting on. 51. Clothe yourself in courage, faith, and strength to be able to face the struggle. Okay? Yet I warn you, do not be intimidated when you speak with your brother because you see him well dressed. Now we talking about, them presidents and crap again. I'm gonna tell you now, they be slick. I don't know if you ever been around too many of these folk, but you know what I'm saying. When you get around these folk got this money, you know what I'm saying? They smell good. They everything in place, and they got haircuts, and it's gonna make, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Especially a haircut, they get on your nerves when you ain't got that edge up, cause ain't nothing you can do. You can't hide it. You can't nothing you can do to remind. Plus, ain't nothing. That's about the worst thing. And the socks, no socks. Yeah, they had their little sheer socks on, and here you is in your busted shoes with your ankles showing, you know what I'm saying, looking rusty, need some lotion on it. And there there's gonna be sharp. The pants gonna be pressed, the socks gonna be, you ain't gonna see no skin down there. You don't know if they need lotion or not because them little socks gonna be like little pantyhose. You know what I'm saying? I'm serious. Then they got them $500 shoes on, you know what I mean? Materialism. Materialism, because and that's what it is. They when they looking down at your old busted shoes, you know what I'm saying? They thinking that and he telling you don't be intimidated by them. You look them square up in your eyes and say, look, dog. Man. Let me see what they tell. Did he tell you what to say? He say, close yourself with courage, face. I warn you, do not be intimidated when his brother because you see him well dressed or because he is called prince or lord or minister or because he got some title, you know what I'm saying? Don't be impressed. 52 says, take from the example of Paul and Peter, who raised their voices before those the world called lords. They were great in spirit and yet did not make a show of being lords before any but acted like servants. See, these the big dogs on the planet. You know what I'm saying? Paul and Peter. Could you imagine? They just finished talking to the Lord. They was the replacement for the Lord who just got sucked up in some cloud somewhere. These are the guys who walking around, you know what I mean? And you don't get no bigger than that. You can be you think you somebody cause you the president? For real? Compared to, these people, golly, you you trying to get permission to shoot a nuke over there to kill all of these people. Try to mess with these two, and the Lord don't want you to. You know what I mean? You ain't seen nothing. And you know what I'm saying? But what did they do? Did they walk around like that? No. No, I could imagine they holding doors for people, carrying groceries, you know what I'm saying? Pick up the pacifier when the baby drop it, you know what I'm saying? You don't even know who they is, you know what I'm saying? Until what? Until you sick and need to get healed. Now they speaking up. What they tell a guy when they walked in the store? They said, "Hey, look on us." Dude hold out his hand. Well, what you gonna give me? He's like, "Hey, silver or gold have we not?" You know what I'm saying? But we got something you consider valuable for sure. All right, where are we at? Where are we at? We gonna try to move along. We gotta get going. Follow their example and give testimony of my truth with the love of your works. Works. Remember the Bible always said faith without works is dead, and we always want that what that meant because religion and works kind of went hand in hand. We're like, no, we ain't supposed to be doing no religion, but what he's talking about is love kind of works, doing stuff for people. Okay. 53 says, I warn you too that he who takes up my word like a sword with which to wound his brother, or like a scepter with which to humiliate him, cannot call himself my disciple. See, this is why we're reading this, because we need this type of information. You know what I mean? It's real easy to go in here and you know what I'm saying, use this to be like a scepter and humiliate him. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, I tell people I leveled up, man. I done leveled up. You know what I'm saying? I don't tell them what it means and all of that. I just want them to mark it in their mind. So when they realize later on, you know what I'm saying, they eyes be big as quarters. I be like, man, I told you back in April. I told you back in 2018. I leveled up on you back then. I just didn't tell you what was going on. I was just, you know what I'm saying. You remember when I told you and put all over my face, all over my on Facebook. I put it all in the videos and everything. Say leveled up. I was already there then. You know what I'm saying? As far as I know, you know what I'm saying? He might got more in store. I don't know. But you know what I'm saying? You can't use that as a scepter and go and embarrass nobody or wound your brother. He gonna tell you what he mean by that in a second. He says, nor can he whose passions are excited upon speaking of this doctrine, and he who loses his tranquility, nor can he whose passions are excited upon speaking of this doctrine. Okay, passions are excited upon speaking of this doctrine. Now, what does that mean? Passions are excited, about upon speaking of this doctrine. And he who loses his tranquility, I guess it's arguing, for he will not plant the seed of faith. Is that arguing and fussing? What does he mean by that? Am I guilty of what he's talking about here now? I'm not sure. Y'all leave a comment on it and let me know, because I'm very passionate about this. If I'm out of order, let me know, because I want to be correct. 54 says, a prepared disciple is one who, upon seeing his faith, his most sacred beliefs attacked, knows how to remain serene. See, you got to understand, you just been given the sword that you've been waiting for. Now, you've been playing around with kids with these little pellet guns and BB guns, you know what I mean? And they've been shooting you there. Of course, it been hurting and all of that. But how about we just gave you the daggone, you know what I'm saying, big boy gun. And you can't just turn around and shoot them when they shooting their little billets at you. They shooting BBs at you, and you don't have a BB gun no more. You traded it in. You know what I'm saying? So you shoot them with the stuff you got now, you're gonna kill them. You know, so you. What'd you say? Yeah, I'm about. Let me take. I'm running to the restroom. Go ahead, say what you.
No, I was just gonna say, even though you want to shoot them with the new gun that you have, what's a powerful gun? Only thing I can remember is from military M16. Even if you want to shoot them with your M16, I mean, just for the sake of 999, you can't, because it will do eternal. I mean, it's gonna do some damage to them, and it's not gonna look good for y'all's sake. Right, right. It says, nor can he whose passions are excited upon speaking of this doctrine, and who loses his tranquility, for he will not plant the seed of faith. So there it is. There's your answer. So if you do shoot them with this big M16, you will not plant the seed of faith, even though you definitely
Well,
want to.
yeah, you might lose him. You know what I mean? And you gonna hurt his feelings to the point. I mean, you. It's one thing to argue with somebody and they can go home and study. Like you know what I'm saying? You have a regular old church service and you go in here and the person start talking about that Nicodemus crap, and then you go ahead and light him up one good time and pop him. He can go home and grab his book and he can study up on it. You know what I'm saying? Get educated. And he can quietly weasel his butt back up in there next time and know better not to run his mouth. But now you didn't hit him with something brand new, something he ain't never even heard before, and you didn't hit him in a way that actually pricks his soul to where he's like, it sounds so true, but it hurts, and he ain't got nothing to go study and pray on. Man, you can knock him slam out the box, man. You know, you ain't, man. Like I say, man, 40 cents could cost you your life. All right, she out. Where we at? Oh, we going real slow down. Passion, speaking, doctrine, lose tranquility, for he will not plant the seed of faith. 54 says, attack. We ready to go on. Wait a minute, wait a minute. Before it says, wait a minute, listen. Now, there you go. For he shall stand like a beacon in a storm. Now, see, that's what you want. That's why you are allowing yourself to be attacked without feeling pricked or without retaliating or hitting striking back, is because you want to stand like a beacon in the storm. You know what I'm saying? Say what you want. You know what I'm saying? I love you, man. Much prayers to you. You know what I'm saying? I'm sending you some I'm sending you some, love power now as we speak. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know. I'm a faggot and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, appreciate it. 55. When you try to urge a sinner toward the good, do not do so threatening him with justice. With justice, when you trying to make him do good, now see, I might have been guilty of this. I'm gonna go ahead and say I was, for the sake of those that are. I'm gonna jump in the boat with y'all and say, yeah, I'm with you, because you know what I'm saying. I'm trying to drain my cup, you know, and so which is a whole nother chapter. But you know what I'm saying, it is. The Bible say if you don't obey the law, you gonna get your butt kicked. But you know what I'm saying, those days are over. We don't talk like them more. You know what I'm saying? We left that with the preacher man bag. We didn't put the preacher man suitcase down. We didn't picked up, a different kind of suitcase, and it don't have that in it. It ain't got that in it. That hell, fire, and brimstone kind of preaching. No, that's over. That ended. That ended. That's done. That ended with when you got your phalanges on this right here. When you got your ear balls on wrapped around this right here. Hell, fire, and brimstone is over with. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no more of that. So you don't tell them that the elements gonna rise up and get them. You know what I'm saying? Do you tell them that if they ask you, are the elements gonna get me? Yeah, the elements gonna rock your world, homie. But that ain't threatening. It's a fact to give it. It's another. You know what I'm saying? He said don't use it as a threat. You know what I'm saying? That's all right. That's all right. You don't listen to me. That's all right. That lightning and that earthquake's gonna get you. No, don't do that. Let's see why. Or with pain. if he does not reform, for you will infuse him with an aversion to my doctrine, meaning you'll make him not want to hear it. Just like they don't want to hear it now. That's the problem. That's why we can't get them to listen to the word of God now, is because, that hellfire, brimstone preaching, Bible, thumping guy all throughout history been daggone, what I'm saying, bringing the pain. That's over. That's over. That's over with. That's done. Never liked that dude anyway. Show him the true God, who is love, charity, and forgiveness. Yeah, you see, you gotta understand that sure the Lord put these rules in here, but he wasn't saying, what I'm saying, if you don't do this, I'm gonna hurt you. He said if you do this, you're gonna get hurt. You know what I'm saying? That's what he was saying it as a warning, not that he brings the judgment or the pain. The judgment is there. You know what I'm saying? It's like the Lord said, what I'm saying, if he had to, he would have wrote in there, don't put your hand on the stove. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? He didn't have to do that. Why? Because you found out within 5 or 6 milliseconds why you shouldn't put your hands on that stove, and he didn't have to bother. How long would it took him to write it? And how long did it take you to actually learn it? You know what I'm saying? So everything is not written. You know what I'm saying? So, let's get back to the subject. Man, I'm getting excited. Oh, I better go check that other verse up here. Show him the true God who is love, charity, and forgiveness. That's your Hermes. That's Hermes Academy. We got some Hermes classes on there, guys. Get the book of the Shepherd of Hermes and go through that stuff. It's some good stuff around on that. It ain't just ours. But what is it? Patience, power, confidence, and faith. Love, charity, forgiveness. That's some of the daughters of that stuff. That's where they breed each other. They breed. One breeds the other one. You got to read the book to find out what I'm talking about. All right, moving on. Still talking about the comportment while spreading the word. We're in verse 56. You will not be offended by the mockery of your brothers if you keep in mind that they mock because their ignorance does not allow them to see the truth. You know what I'm saying? So you realize, man, okay, you can't see the truth. And so that puts you in mind of if you were them, you would think the same thing. Because, if you were them, you would be just as ignorant and you would actually be thinking the same thing. So you have to put yourself in their shoes. You will be compensated in those who are upon coming to examine you and leave astonished by the eternal peace that illuminates each of my true disciples. Okay, so that's showing you compensated by your peace. We hear that over and over in the Testament. That's what we're gonna get is peace. And you say, well, I'm saying that might not be something you worth working for. You know what I'm saying? You'd be real ignorant to say something like that. Considering we're living in a peaceful time now. When stuff get out of hand in a few, days, months, years, on down the road, you're gonna be wishing you had some peace. You know what I'm saying? Just like people in hell wish they had some hot water, some cold water, you're gonna be wishing you had some peace. You know what I'm saying? You may not look like so appealing now as you sit there bored, you know what I'm saying, while I'm giving you this text. You sit there yawning and can on, like, oh, I wish I had some more excitement or whatever. But, you know what I'm saying? Peace is very important, and that's one of the promises. And this is how we get that. You will be compensated, okay? And those who coming up on to examine you leave astonished by the eternal peace that illuminates each of his true disciples. You, in turn, must never mock those who, in their religious fanaticism, are idolaters. Okay, they're religious fanatics, and they are idolaters. Now he's talking about the Pope and them cats down there. You know what I'm saying? I thought we was supposed to bash them. You know what I'm saying? But we ain't. All right, dang it. That's what I mean. He says bitter in your mouth. But I mean, it's sweet in your mouth, but it's bitter in your belly because you realize you got to change. Now I got to stop bashing the Pope, with the daggone crucifix walking up and down the aisle, kissing on it and crap. You know what I'm saying? All right, I'll change. You know what I'm saying? Get right on that. You, in turn, must never mock those who, in their religious fanaticism, are idolaters. For although they seek me in material forms, here, watch this. This will blow your mind. For although they seek me in a material form, they worship me in them. Okay? Do not point out that, oh, this ain't where it is. See, in another place, and he might go ahead and say it, but he break it down for you when he start talking about these. They, let me tell you before I even try to remember. I was the guy who used to go into church and take down the things off the wall. I'd take down y'all sitting there talking about y'all don't like the white Jesus and all that. Come in your church and they missing. You better look and see if I done been there, because I done probably got the thing and then broke it up and put it in the trash somewhere. You know what I mean? I take some out of people's houses. I'm talking about I use the images, the pictures of the Jesuses and all of, the kind of stuff. I mean, take them out of the church and go destroy them. I done took them out. I mean, take them out in front of the preacher man. You know what I'm saying? I had the last time I took one out, the bishop of the church, he's the only one in the church didn't want to take it out. I'm like, man, come get it. You know what I'm saying? Take it off the wall. I didn't realize later he didn't want to take it out. I thought he was a fully on board until he was trying to put it back up there. Like, man, you nerd. But anyway, you can't do that. You let him do that, because what this scripture says is he's actually seeing God in that picture. Weirdly enough, or not, you know what I'm saying? That's strange to me, because I'm like, man, you don't go on crazy. That's a piece of paper. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? At least draw a beard on him or whatever. But you know, they are actually seeing God, and they get credit for their actions, which is weird enough. So they out there bound down to these things, and He is actually answering their prayers, which is, I guess when you look at reality, they getting some prayers answered from somewhere, and no, it ain't that daggone idol. Moving on. Do not point out their errors to your brothers to try to have them corrected. By doing so, you would more likely excite their anger and fanaticism in this way. Okay, so you're gonna have the opposite effect. He's letting us know you're gonna have the opposite effect. Is it It is enough for you to practice my doctrine with the love it demands to bring to light the errors of your brothers. You must use much patience, a great deal of charity, and true love if you wish humanity to recognize soon the essence of my word and to offer it true worship. So you gotta understand, this is why he has, these group these, sir, this is why you watching this. It's because you want to do this. Other folk like, what fun is that? You know what I'm saying? Recognize soon the essence of my word and to offer it true worship. I don't nobody care about that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I remember my sister, I almost choked my sister one time when she asked me what was wrong with me. And I told, you know what I'm saying, after you get so tired and finally go ahead and tell them what's wrong with you. And she like, you crying because you can't reach people with the word together. She almost choked on her margarita or whatever she was drinking. And it came to recognize in each human creature a spiritual and material brother in God. So you have a material or spiritual and a material brother. I'm going to go ahead. Verse 60 says, I have come to prove you that you can remove the blindfold from the ignorant and obsessed without harming. Okay, now harming, offending, or wounding them. Okay, so he's come to prove us. Now, how is he gonna prove us? Now, I'm sitting here running through this, and I'm wondering, have I already gone through this approval? Am I about to get proved? I'm in approval now because, like I said, I used to take the thing. I used to bash them up. You know what I'm saying? I used to make big piles of them. I can almost see a few mounds of them things now where I took all of them and put them in a pile and put dirt on them. You know what I'm saying? And made me a pile out of these, you know what I'm saying? Idols and images and, graven images and, stuff. But he's saying you do it now without wounding them. And so I wish you to do it as well. Oh, wait, he said I did it? He said, I have come to prove you that you can remove the blindfold from the ignorant and obsessed without harming, offending, or wounding them as I wish you to do it is as well. All right, y'all read that again. I have proven in yourselves that love, forgiveness, patience, and indulgence are stronger than hardness, condemnation, and violence. In other words, you get more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. Meaning be nice and it works. And that's kind of what we need right now. We've been beat up by the Bible bashing, bishop for a long time. It's time to get into, reality, which is, that, our let our conscience be our guide. Just tell us, show our conscience, show us how to understand and hear our conscience, and we'll just do that. You know what I'm saying? We won't worry about, you know, Billy Bible banging bishop boy, and we'll just listen to our conscience. We'll just do that. 61. I am once again setting the pattern for you to follow me. When you arise seeking humanity to convey to them the good news, okay, so when you arise, here you are, you're trying to get your wings, you're trying to, well, you realizing you have, do have wings, and you're trying to figure out how they're going to work and trying to get yourself up off the ground. He said, when you do arise seeking humanity to convey to them the good news, do not beg them to listen to you. Yeah, we've been doing that the whole time. Hey, anybody like me? No, we've been begging. Carry out your mission with dignity. How about we get dignity now? I don't give a flip if you don't listen to me. And those who believe you will be the ones who I have chosen to make them my disciples. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to go out here soul winning no more. You know how many people are in soul winning in my life? You know what I'm saying? Is your name in the book of life? I promise you 10, 20, 30, 40,000 folk, man. You know what I'm saying? Might be 100,000. I don't know. Nah, it ain't 100,000. There's a lot of people though. You know what I'm saying? He said he gonna put them in your way. He says carry out your mission with dignity. See, everybody's gonna have missions in this thing, and you know who you are. If you got the calling, you know what gifts you have. You know what it was back when he first called you. Whatever thing it was. If it was doing hair, if it was preaching, if it was singing, if it was making YouTube videos like I'm doing. YouTube wasn't even invented back then. But this is what I was doing when he called me. You know what I'm saying? I had, the same little apparatus on my ear with a microphone right there in my face, and I was sitting here running my mouth. You know what I'm saying? 21 years ago with a Bible in my hand. You know what I'm saying? Now we didn't upgrade it a little bit, but it's the same thing. And everybody has these talents and abilities. So he's saying, do your mission with dignity. Don't worry about going out and find these people. And those who believe you will be the ones who he has chosen to make your disciples. See, you gonna get disciples now. Ain't nobody got no disciples now. Everybody got disciples. Ain't nobody got no disciples. These big time churches, they ain't got no disciples. They got members of that church to come in, but they ain't following and doing what they say do. You know what I'm saying? No, a disciple is somebody that's following after your pattern and doing what you're doing. He said you gonna get some disciples now, but you ain't you gotta do right though. Oh, here go a long one. 62. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Did we change? Yeah, we changed. All right, that's it, y'all. We're gonna get into the correct way to spread the word next. Now that's gonna start here at verse 62. All right, y'all leave me some feedback. I'm gonna try to run this up uncut, y'all. We trying something new here. Jesus is Yahushua HaMashiach. Hermes Academy. Power, patience, continence, and faith. We teach virtue.